Hey, welcome to the stream. Today we are checking out this fairly inexpensive Line 6 multi-effects pedal. Which has no business having such a great reverb. Bussless patches. Hello friends of Oxy1. Hello. We will be using the Oxy1 a little bit today. We are concentrating on the HX1 today. I picked this up a few days ago, basically, used for a very decent price. It's basically an impulse buy. I was looking for maybe a high-end delay pedal, something like Strymon, because I sold my Meris Mercury 7, which was a little bit I didn't really have a use for it because I have the Mercury X there and I have the golden. I wanted more variety. But I sold the Mercury 7 for the same price as I bought it, so that's plus minus 0. And this one was considerably cheaper. And this one has all the Line 6 effects from the Helix generation of Line 6 processors. But basically this has everything but the guitar amp modeling and the guitar cabinet modeling. And you can only run a single effect at a time. But then again, something like an Eventide H9 can also run just one effect at a time. And at least you can tweak this from the front panel. But I love reverb, and this is a really good reverb. So listen to that tail. even with the high end or the low end. I could just do this all day. Right now I'm playing the mutable instruments rings in my Eurorack system, using the Native Instruments Complete Control, or just Control S61 Mark III. I don't think it's Complete Control anymore. It's outputting MIDI to the Oxy 1, which is converting the MIDI to control voltage and gate. So there's another great use for the Oxy 1. You can use it as a very well-featured MIDI to CV converter. I think I need to show some other effects as well, not just this dynamic hall here. But I have a hard time stopping playing this. Sounds beautiful. So to change the effect, you can either rotate this encoder here, go to the next effect in your category, or you can press the encoder, get to the menu. And here, I wonder if you can actually see on the video, you can basically scroll through the list of, we are now in reverb, so right now just reverbs. You can go back with the left arrow here, and you get all these other categories of effects here. So distortion, I'm going to show you the HM2 model there, because I'm an old metal head and I love the Boss HM2 on guitars. So we'll try that on synths. And there's dynamics for compressors, limiters, and all that. You have EQs, modulation, a lot of really good delays, a lot of reverbs, some pitch shifting effects, actually synthesizers as well. Basically, they convert audio to a synthesizer. So it's not like perfect tracking or anything, but it works okay. Then you have your wah, your filter effects, loopers. There's an interesting glitchy looper here that's sort of, I think it's inspired by Chase Bliss or something like that. Really cool. We will look at that as well, but we'll stay with reverbs for now. We'll go into dynamic blades, just press the encoder there. And we have a fairly boring default setting here. I always increase the decay a lot, because I like a huge reverb. We'll set mix at 50%. And this is a slightly different character of a reverb. This is basically, it's a plate. So it's attempting to sound like one of those huge metal plates in boxes. I think this one sounds very good as well. We'll just increase the decay a little bit more. Very nice. There's a bit of modulation there in the tail. We have, they call it motion. That's modulation, same thing. motion range here. Turn that down. So you get a more static tail. I don't like that, so we'll turn it up a bit. You notice there's a little bit of movement in the reverb. Generally, you want a little bit of movement in reverbs so that it will sound a bit more alive. And I find that a little bit of modulation also keeps it from muddying up the sound so much. Usually I don't use modulation effects so much, so chorus or phaser or whatever. I usually have a very modulated reverb or a delay. Very beautiful. A little bit more overbearing than the hall. Going to the next one, that's the dynamic room here. Basically, these dynamic reverbs are the latest generation of Line 6 reverbs. So room is much more much more subtle. Maximum decay is 3 seconds here. We have damping, basically damping the high end above this frequency. We have diffusion. Which will basically, you can think of it like smearing the reverb. You don't always want a lot of diffusion because it can make it sound a little bit muddy. So less diffusion means slightly more clear sort of delays. I have to look for words a lot today. Haven't been sleeping so well. That's the dynamic room, not my favorite. An okay room reverb, definitely. Ambience is an even smaller room type of thing. You can barely tell that it's there. I really have no use for this. Because I like a huge reverb, so let's move on to dynamic bloom. Mix to 50%. I believe this bloom algorithm is based on something that they had in the Alice's quad reverb, I think. Basically, you have a slow build up and it blooms. So you can change the rise time, short or long. Takes longer time for it to build up. Sounds pretty nice. I don't like these special effects, kind of reverbs all that much. Here's the shimmer. Everything has to have a shimmer reverb. Not a huge fan. Not the worst one as either. It's an okay shimmer. I think Eventide does a much better shimmer reverb. But then again, the H90, for example, costs, what is it these days? More than 800 at least, and this a couple of hundred. Not a fan of the shimmer. Hot Springs. This is a spring reverb. A quick comparison to the golden here. Switch that to spring 65. Golden has like a very realistic spring reverb that drips and has all these resonances here. One sounds a lot better than this one. Or at least a lot springier. Then again, the golden is only reverbs and it's more expensive than this one. There's a non-linear. It's an interesting one. The mix is at 50%. Basically, you have this interesting build-up. And you can change the shape here. Go linear. A lot of these curves. Triangle. Inverted triangle. Full. You can set the decays 1 second by default. Let's set it to maximum 2 seconds. Very interesting here. Fusion, modulation. Glitz. I'm not sure what all these are. The names aren't very descriptive. I think these from the non-linear down, these are older. algorithms, which may not be as good as the newer ones. Searchlights. Sounds okay. Not great. And there are a lot of these. These are all from line 6 history. Particle reverb is actually interesting. It's a cool ambient thing. One is very cool. You can change the condition. Very good for sound design. So we'll move on to my next favorite effect here, delay. Okay, Lord Hegemon. Please no more expensive useless effects. Oh, they make them because people buy them. And I agree that a lot of these effects are not going to be used by a lot of people. That's how you have the variety. For example, the line 6 effects include a lot of just basic effects that I think you actually kind of need. Just go dry. Sounds boring. Add delay. That's a lot more interesting. Increase feedback. This is just a basic sort of a digital delay. Very clean. Nothing much happening. Cat GPT. Welcome to the stream. We'll move on to mod chorus echo. There's something happening here. There's a lot of modulation. I will actually add a little bit of reverb from golden because it's starting to sound very dry. Just a little bit of blade reverb. Increase the feedback. Scale control on a lot of these delays is very cool. Basically, you can change the ratio of the left and right delay lines here. So, not mix feedback, 90%. Type of modulation, chorus, vibrato or off, modulation speed, and depth here. Rank that for out of tune with that one. Dual delay. Basically two separate delay lines here. You have the individual mix for each delay line. Individual feedback, of course. We really like rings for testing delays and reverbs because it's very percussive, I think. Get a nice attack. Really shows off the reverbs. Again, here you can choose your modulation. Multi-tap delays. Basically 4 delays. Really good for some more ambient sort of things. Running stereo, you can pan them how you wish. You can change the scale. It's relative to your time. Make them something interesting here. But definitely for more ambient sort of thing, 6 multi-tap. I think these are pretty similar to some of the Eventide stuff. Line 6 has a really good balance of weird effects and actually useful bread and butter type of things. And I really bought this mostly for the delays, because I wanted the delay pedal. And I was looking at the Strymon Dig, but that's the version 2 is unobtainium basically in Europe, and it's quite a bit more expensive than this one. And I think this has very good delays. Department of Crystal Imprisonment, welcome to the stream. Line 6 effects sound really good here, definitely. I think they always sound very good. I had an HX FX, so that's basically the bigger FX only box they have. I sold it about a year ago. I used it with my guitar rig back when I used to play the guitar. I haven't really played the guitar at all, a good long while. But I kind of missed the effects. But I thought the HX effects actually sounded a little bit muddy with my synthesizers. But I'm not getting that feeling with this one. I got the HX1 2 days ago. I think I got mine 3 days ago. What day is it today? It was actually 2 days ago. Tuesday. Yeah, today is Thursday. We got that at the same time. Basically, I was familiar with the Line 6 effects. Always really liked them. Ping pong delay sounds really good. There's not much. Oh, you can actually change the scale here. We'll go 62. A bit more interesting. Repeats and crank the feedback. Decrease the time here. A lot of people complain when delays do this pitch modulation effects when you change the time. I actually really like that. Sounds very cool. It sounds like it's falling. Crazy. Actually, the HX1 has a pretty interesting feature. It has this, they call it flux. It's basically just like an automated ramping of parameters. So we'll assign that to time by holding it down. And then we want to change the curve here. You can go, I think that's exponential, linear to logarithmic, and off curve as well. There's a lot of control here. Anyone into modulation and modular synthesizers will like features like this. So we'll try actually you can actually change the maximum value there. We'll see what happens. Basically, it'll just do like an kind of like you would have an expression pedal. It's automated. Some cool effects. You can of course use it with more subtle settings. I still haven't read the manual. The sweep echo. Crank the feedback a little bit. You can change the filter type here. Have low pass, band pass, and high pass. The shape. Basically LFO, I think. Random. Set the rate. But the HX1 has improved impedance detection over the HXFX and lower latency. Yeah, this one has the variable impedance. The HXFX didn't have that, so stuff like the some of the distortions and some of the delays, at least, sound a little bit different. It's not as noticeable with sort of synthesizer signals because you're basically line level, but with or you're not loading down the synthesizer output like you are basically loading the pickups on a guitar, a passive guitar. So you don't get quite the same effect there. But it's a good feature to have. Duck delay. Basically, delay that just goes out of the way when you're playing and comes back in when you stop playing, so it's as like an envelope follower. I don't like that. I want the delay to always be very noticeable. We have a reverse delay, which actually sounds pretty good. Increase the time. Now I have no idea why they keep using these super slippery knobs here. It's like you're trying to adjust the parameter. Your fingers keep slipping on the knob. It's annoying. Modulation. Very cool. Vintage digital, now that's one of my favorites here. Time here. Now the vintage digital basically is very similar to the Strymon Dig, at least in principle, because you get you can basically emulate vintage digital delays. You get bit depth here, so we have it at 12 bits, and sample rate was set it at 12K. It's a little bit crunchier. Mix up. Sample rate all the way down. Bit depth all the way down to 6 bits. You get all these digital artifacts. Kind of reminds me of when I was young, or younger. I probably should still consider myself young, but used to watch these music videos in, what was it called? Real video, I think. They were terrible quality, very pixelated, and the audio sounded awful. But I enjoyed the music, and that's the important part. Didn't know impedance was different for synths versus guitar. Yeah, synthesizers basically don't have the impedance feature. I'm not going to call it an issue because it can make for some... it's basically part of the magic in passive electric guitar. Because synthesizers don't, obviously they don't have pickups. So you have to have a pickup plugged into the input, let's say input here, and then it basically, I think it loads it down. I think that's maybe the right term, but it changes how the pickup behaves. So you can basically change your resonant peak and basically make the pickup sound completely different. Now with active pickups in guitars, it's basically the same as having a line level signal or something from a synthesizer. You don't get that effect. So if you have an active guitar, I have several active guitars still, haven't sold them yet. But if you plug one of them into something that has this impedance variation, you can test whether it will affect that. And it probably won't affect at all. The vintage digital sounds very good. We'll go back to 12 bits and sample rate 12K. I think that's our sample rate 8K. That's pretty classic. Feedback cranked and scale. I wonder if 62% on the scale here is similar to the golden ratio on the Strymon Dig. Oh, department, you've only been a guitarist. My synth sounds amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. I played the guitar for about 20 years. Mostly heavy metal. And basically I have the hearing damage to show for it, unfortunately. My hearing is not what it used to be. But I really enjoyed the guitar. But then I got into synthesizers. I basically got tired of the guitar. I'll change my sound here on strings. Basically right now I'm playing a modular synthesizer that has this physical modeling module that models different materials, basically different materials in different ways you can strike them. So this one is basically a string simulation. And I love how this sounds very much like a stringed instrument. But it's not exactly like anything real. Pray for my hearing. Thank you so much. I hope I'm not going to incur any more hearing damage. It sucks that tinnitus sucks, but I'm used to it. Sometimes it gets worse, basically stress or whatever. And I've lost a little bit of high-end hearing. So if I do like a what do you call it, a filter sweep on a resonating filter, I will not hear all the high sounds from that, so I have to be careful so I don't actually blow anyone else's ears off. I have to be mindful of how much high end I'm putting out. But I can still enjoy sounds, and I can enjoy music, and I can enjoy playing, but that's the important thing. Well, the rings sounds absolutely beautiful. The vintage digital is a beautiful delay, and vintage well. Basically will swell as it has probably a envelope follower, and it'll bring in the sound slowly. You have to allow it to die down first. Works better with a guitar or something. Pitch echo. not a great sounding pitch shifter, or actually a pretty lousy pitch shifter. But I actually like how it sounds sort of like a vintage pitch shifter. The attack kind of sounds like someone's taking a bite out of your sound. I like that. Can't fault that one. Sounds pretty good. Transistor tape. Tape delay. Sounds very cool. There's wow and flutter feedback, of course. So real tape delays are, if they are well maintained and you have like a new tape, they sound very clean. They're not, like a lot of people think that a tape is always very wobbly and very sort of dark or crunchy or whatever. That's not true, because a lot of music is recorded on tape and it sounds just fine. It sounds very clean. But people just like the very sort of what do you call that? It's like this. It's like the idea of a tape that is wobbly and sounds very vintage. And I like that as well. And again, you can change the stereo image here. Sounds like X-Files, so yeah. They had a lot of this sort of, actually the theme song had like a really nice delay. Like this attack sort of a percussive kind of sound with the delay. And it had the Whistling Joe preset from a Proteus synthesizer. I have one Proteus here that has that same preset from the X-Files theme song. So I could basically make like a cover of the X-Files theme song with the almost original. But I haven't watched X-Files in such a long time. Okay, transistor tape is very good. Cosmos Echo is, that's like a Roland Space Echo, I think it's called. Emulation of that. Again, very beautiful tape. And again, quite wobbly and crunchy. Not very dark though. I can increase the feedback here. Wow and flutter. Let's max that out. You get very wobbly. You get seasick. A little bit less wow and flutter. And some of these have a very cool feature. Where you can adjust the headroom of the effects. So you can increase headroom to get cleaner sound. Or you can decrease the headroom so you'll get more distortion. And more sort of compression from the model. Sounds very good. So you can hear the distortion there. You can probably make this self-oscillate. I have to... There's the mode you can... Yeah, it's very self-oscillating. You can change your mode here, so you can have head 1. Basically, tape emulation here has 3 heads, so 3 playback heads. You can have head 1, head 2, head 3. They are spaced differently. You can have head 1 and 3. Head 2 and 3. Head 1, 2 and 3. Very nice sounding tape type of delay. It actually has this cool feature here, splice. You can basically play for a while and we'll hear it. It does this. Basically the tape is like, it's spliced, so you get that kind of glitch type of thing. I'll increase the feedback here. I'll try to mind my levels here. So it'll self-oscillate. And it does this glitch. But you can choose to have the glitch or not, which I really like. That's the Cosmos echo. There's harmony delay, another pitch shifting thing. Maybe a better pitch shifter than the other one. This is quantized, actually. E. I always play in C minor, so I'll set that to C minor. For some reason we're getting a sort of a glitch. Not a bad sounding pitch shifter actually. Oh, crank the feedback. That's sort of a little bit of portamento or slide there. Actually sounds pretty nice. Not bad. I'm actually kind of I used to be very into very clean effects with the guitar. I didn't want any glitches, didn't want anything sort of too dirty or whatever. But with synthesizers, I actually like these sort of little glitchy things. I think they give it a bit of character. Bucket Brigade. Bucket Brigade. Like an old school analog delay. The maximum delay time is 300 milliseconds, so this is a pretty accurate in that regard, because real sort of vintage Bucket Brigades don't have they're not capable of very long delay times. But this is another sort of a crunchy, analog sounding delay here. And I think line 6 really has a very good balance of simple to use, but very sort of versatile. And the sound qualities, I think it's very good. And I've had Eventide, I've had the H90, I've had Fractal Audio. I used Fractal Audio for a long time when I played the guitar. All 3 generations of their products. And it had pretty good effects, but I'm actually preferring line 6 these days. I had a Fractal Audio FM3 that I used to use with my guitar, but I sold it recently to find more synth stuff. But I tried it with the synthesizers and I didn't like it. I thought the reverbs weren't as good as they are sort of claimed to be. So to my taste, something like the Golden is a lot better than Fractal. I basically have like 20 years of trying different pieces of gear behind me. I have some idea of, I like to think I have some idea of what I'm doing and what sounds good. But we all sort of have our own opinions, of course. Adriatic delay, this is like a... It's named after the guy who made this algorithm, Ben Adrian. Made this sort of a very interesting, this is like a bucket brigade delay. You can choose your bucket brigade device size here. We're going to go 1024 for a very sort of crunchy sound with a lot of artifacts. Or you can go to 8192 for a very clean sort of bucket brigade. I'm not sure if this is actually possible with physical bucket brigades, but I'm not really a bucket brigade device aficionado. Basically, the longer you set your time, the crunchier and darker and more artifacty your delay should become when you have a bucket brigade. So if you have an accurate emulation of bucket brigades, you would have a more bright sound with shorter delay and a darker sound with a longer one. Which I think we have here. Or not, I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. Very nice delay here. I'm spending a lot of time on the reverbs and delays, but that's just because they are my favorite effects types. And you can affect the modulation here. Go for a shorter time here. So you're gonna go very wobbly, very dark, very crunchy. Really like that. Swell is another sort of a volume swell type thing. Not gonna do it with this sound, doesn't work. Elephant Man is a Memory Man, deluxe Memory Man, I think. I think my picture is looking a little bit dark. Maybe now it's okay. Another classic delay model here. Goes up to 500 milliseconds. Sounds very good. You can change the modulation type, chorus or vibrato. Give it a chorus, give it a modulation depth here. Go very wobbly. Stereo spread and scale as well. Basically the ratio between the delay lines, left and right. You can increase the noise here. Basically you can make an idealized sort of a delay sound with these digital devices here. You can also tap tempo here. And change your time to be based on note divisions. Basically you can sync this to MIDI clock, but I haven't hooked up the MIDI yet, and I actually like tapping in the tempo because it's not perfect. I think you get a more interesting rhythmic pattern with a tapped tempo because it's not perfect. So multipass delay here. Go back to the L type of sound. Or there's a lot of versatility in rings. It's not just the kind of cliche sounds. Multipass is some kind of a filtered delay. Very nice, very sort of ambient. Heliosphere is pretty nice. Delay, it has a big ambient reverb on the delay line. And you can set the reverb here, reverb mix. You can have it at 100% and set the decay longer. right. Modulation depth, mix. I've noticed a lot of pedals have a different sort of mix law than you would expect. When you have mix at 50%, it's not going to be 50%. For something like the golden reverberator, I think, if you want basically equal levels of dry sound and the reverb, you basically want to set it closer to like 75%. And I was annoyed by that, because I like when things are sort of logical and numbers do what they seem to do. So when you have 50% mix, I think you should basically have equal level of dry signal and affected signal. But now I realize that you actually have more control in the important part of the mix when you need to go higher. So basically on something like the HX1, 50% mix is equal, and when you go higher, you really start to lose the dry signal, but then you don't have as much fine control in the lower mix. I've started to prefer a different mix law than 50% means equal, because you get more control in the range where you need more subtle control. And then when you go full wet, who cares? It doesn't matter if it's 1% or 5%. The difference isn't as dramatic. Peter Gao, welcome to the stream. This is beautiful, thank you. I'm just noodling here and testing or trying out my new HX1, doing a demo. There are very few. I actually didn't find a single HX1 demo done on a synthesizer on YouTube. Maybe there is one, but with best efforts, I could not find one. There are some demos with other Line 6 pieces, or Line 6 devices, but not this one. I have no idea why. Synthesists appear to like the Zoom, what is it, MS-70 CDR. And basically for me, Zoom means those plastic, awful multi-effects units from 20 years ago, or longer actually. When I tried them out, it was like 20 years ago. So I'm a little bit skeptical of Zoom pedals. I really like the Heliosphere. Ooh, I've been at it for quite a long time. I think I need to do a different stream on some of the different effects categories. The glitch delay, this is an interesting one. Basically does what it says on the tin. It's a glitchy delay. Kind of chops up your sound and plays it back. Almost like a granular sort of effect. Voice feedback, shuffle. And actually this would be a granular type effect. Because that's what a granular is. It chops up your audio and spits out different mangled pieces of audio. So you can have pitch variation here. I never really liked these type of effects with guitar, but with synthesizers, I really like this. Basically, if I was able to patch something like this on my modular synth, I would be very happy. And this is right there on the pedal. A kind of a Chase Bliss style thing. And this pedal costs a lot less than a single sort of Chase Bliss pedal. I really like this one. Wow. Wow. I could do this all day. Add more reverse. You can affect all the parameters here. More pitch variation. Wow. This is worth the price of this pedal alone. I mean, I paid about 160 euro for this used. It's mint condition basically. Mint in box. And this was an impulse buy because I was looking for some pedal. I was hoping for a Strymon Dig. But I'm thinking I'm probably a lot happier with this one. It's a lot cheaper. And the Strymon only does that one thing. Definitely doesn't do this. This is incredible. You can change your intervals here. There's by default it's minus 12 steps and plus 12 steps. We'll go plus and minus 7. And right now I have a little bit of late reverb coming from the golden, because I hate a completely dry sound, especially on headphones. That is weird. I love this. We'll go for something that will probably sound awful. Or dissonant. Not awful, dissonant. Alright, yeah. Really good for sound design, special effects, all that. Simple delay. Oh, we went back to the simple delay. No idea what I pressed there. Euclidean delay. This is another very interesting delay algorithm here. So on my Oxy one using friends know what an Euclidean or what a Euclidean pattern generator is. Basically you have a set number of steps over basically a set number of steps over a set number pattern length. I have a very tough time explaining things today. And it tries to basically spread them out evenly in that sort of time frame. So like a 4 on the floor beat would be 4 steps on a 16 step pattern, for example, and you would have 4 equally spaced kick drum beats or whatever you call that. So it's difficult to explain, or I'm very poor at explaining things. And you have a fill parameter here. It will simply, it's very similar to the Euclidean generator in the Oxy 1 Mark II. The fill appears to add some steps around the Euclidean steps here. Step time, okay. 9 steps. Where's my... It's very cool. ADT. It's basically emulating, I think it's emulating a tape machine, because there is a different one somewhere. It's actually in modulation, I think. Or this is a double tracker, sorry. Maybe this is a double tracker. When you want your guitar to sound bigger. We're not playing guitar now. Synthesizers sound perfect by themselves. And then you just throw some beautiful effects on there and you are done. Crisscross, this is basically a cross-feed, delay with cross feedback. So the delay lines can feed back into each other. So then cross feed off and cross feed pull up. Subtle. You can pan the delay lines differently. Feedback is separate. Delay time is separate. Tessellator. This is something I have to activate here. We'll basically hold the delay. Some interesting rhythmic. I don't really like using the foot switches with my hands because they're not designed for that. I really like how the Mary's Mercury X that I have below here actually has a it has buttons that have the same function as the foot switches. So it has buttons on top of the foot switches for us synthesists who you have effects on our desks or on our synthesizers, and we use them with our hands. A ratchet is another sort of a delay you have to activate here. So I wonder, you could probably activate them with MIDI control signals, so continuous control. I'll have to try that sometime. I have to look up the MIDI implementation here. So then I could basically program them in to my keyboard and activate them from here. Polysustain, this is another one of these you have to activate. It'll basically hold your sound as long as it's active. Something like this is very good with guitar, because you can play a chord, hold the chord, and play on top of that held chord. But on synthesizer, it's not really needed. Because you can already hold your chords here and play a lead line here. You don't have the same limitations as a guitar in that regard. I think we're into the older models here. I think I'll have to stop streaming soon, but we will check out this shuffling looper here. So stereo. I have an arpeggiator here running, and hold that. Then we'll record. I'll try to be on time. And we will stop our arpeggiator here, and now we have a loop going here. Now this is shuffling looper, so this does a similar thing as the glitch delay, except this is a looper. So you record your loop in this, and then you can mangle it with all these controls. Basically, I guess this would be another granular effect. You can change your amount of slices here, sequence length. So very familiar to someone who uses a MIDI sequencer like an Oxy One. You have similar controls here. You can change your sequence length, how many steps basically, slices. So 12 slices over a 8 length sequence. And you can shuffle, you can increase pitch. Actually go for longer sequence. It gets pretty crazy fast. And you can add in, basically randomizes the your grain. So it might be reversed, it might not be reversed, it might be pitch shifted or not. It could be repeated. It's a very beautiful effect. We'll add a bit more reverb on the golden here. Big hole. I love a huge hole. Hey Ben. Thanks for your video. Still happy with the multi-poly? Yeah, definitely. I got the multi-poly module. I wonder if you can actually hear me. This is very loud. I got the multi-poly module in March when it came out, so I pre-ordered it immediately when they announced the module. And I have been very happy with it. It's a beautiful sounding synthesizer. It does very good analog style sounds, It does the wavetable thing as well, all of this. The only thing it doesn't do is multi-samples, so that's why the wave state and these vintage rumblers here. But for your basic and less basic synthesizer sounds, the multipoly is an absolutely beautiful sounding synthesizer. Sorry for your English. Don't be. Your English is fine. I always think my English is bad, but I suppose my English is fine as well. You don't want to hear me try to speak French. My French will be much worse than your English. You can smooth the range, basically you can add drift and change the intervals. It's a beautiful looper, basically worth the price of this pedal by itself. Just a gorgeous effect. Yeah, no problem, Ben. There might be sort of a culture thing where don't you have a lot of sort of overdubbed television and stuff like that in France, where you hear a lot of French, so English is not heard as much. In Finland we have a lot of television shows and everything in English, and we start studying English at a very early age, so we are exposed to it all the time. So that's why we basically have pretty good English skills on average, I think. It's a beautiful effect. We'll decrease the amount of slices here, make for a more almost sounds like the original audio here. That's it for this jam here. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon.